and that is being the so-called ugly friend in the friend group. Spare me a few minutes and let's talk. I'm going to be sharing my own personal experience, so be sure to watch until the end. Women who are classified as the ugly friend in the friend groups goes through a roller coaster of emotions. They love their friends and enjoy hanging with them, but at the same time, they hate being the one whom men don't show interest in. When out and about, men will approach their friends but never them. This is often not spoken about because no one wants to come off as being jealous of their friend. In reality, most times they aren't jealous of their friend, but rather frustrated by the lack of attention, which makes them feel unattractive. This is a real issue affecting many women, but only a few choose to speak out. Let's hear what this lady has to say.
And I just want to know if any women are experiencing this. Quick backstory. Coming up, I always had low self-esteem. I never felt attractive. I didn't really have friends. I was pretty much a loner. And so as an adult, I still have some of those thoughts in my mind. And it could honestly affect how I present myself when I'm out. But with that said, I have a lot of gorgeous friends, okay? Everybody's pretty. Everybody's pretty. Can we talk about how we are not the woman that's like ever approached in the friend group? More specifically, how you internalize it, how you deal with it. You know, because it's hard for me to believe that I'm the pretty girl when I'm out and men don't approach me. I tell you guys all the time that like I get the most attention from guys on the internet, not out in public. I for the most part, I'm never approached, just to keep it a buck. Or I'm approached by super older guys, like 50 and up. Nobody in my age range. And I don't care how many times my friends tell me I'm pretty. People at church tell me I'm pretty. When it's all said and done and I'm in a room with them, I'm never seen. And it's kind of hard to deal with. And then you can't even really talk to your homegirls about it, because if you tell them, then they're going to be self-conscious about how they are in your presence, and you don't want to dim their light because you love them. But like, what do I have to do? Distance myself from pretty people? Like,
Ladies, consider this. It's not that you're ugly. Perhaps you just don't look approachable because of your facial expressions or body language. And keep in mind that the way you carry yourself also plays an important role in this. So it is needful to also be honest with yourself and see if you need to upgrade your wardrobe or work on your personal grooming. Also consider that sometimes these men aren't looking for anything serious, so you aren't really missing out on anything. So instead of feeling sorry for yourself, and I don't say this to invalidate your feelings, but stop for a moment and think if these men are the men you even want to approach you. I want you to get to the point in your mind where you don't feel bad when you aren't approached or pursued by men who aren't even your type. Think of this as something positive. Take it as a sign that there is something about you that is repelling the men who aren't your type. Because getting attention from men who aren't your type is pointless. At this point in life, you should get offended if certain men show interest in you. Not to say you're looking down on anyone, but certain men shouldn't even think that they have a chance with you. If he doesn't have a good job, he shouldn't be approaching you. If he has lots of baby mothers, he shouldn't be approaching you. If he's a womanizer, he shouldn't be approaching you. In my teen years, I was never approached by boys at school. While all my friends were dating and having boyfriends, I was the one who was cool with the boys and was basically friend zoned. At the time, I remember looking at my friends and wondering why I wasn't as beautiful as them. My bestie, for one, had all the attention from the guys at school and also from the young men who were above 18. And keep in mind that at this time, we were about 13 years old, and she was constantly being approached by grown men. But that's a discussion for another day. She was thick, had big boob, big butt, light skin, and she had curly hair. I was never ugly, as there isn't an ugly bone in my body, but I was a late bloomer. So looking back now, I realized that it was because my body wasn't as matured as the other girls. Fast forward to grade 10, I processed my hair, started wearing lip gloss, mascara, and some eyeliner, and all the boys started flocking me. It made me feel weird because I wasn't used to that sort of attention. Luckily, I didn't get involved with any of these boys because they didn't pay me any mind when I was wearing my natural hair, which was always neatly groomed. So I have very thick hair and it had a very good length. So my sister would always give me some nice and unique hairstyles that the other girls couldn't do or just didn't have the length or thickness to do. So I started to become more noticeable. I started to stand out not only amongst the girls in my friend group, but the girls in my grade. But while I was getting the attention, it wasn't good attention. These boys weren't attracted to me for who I was, but only because I somewhat had a glow up. And while physical appearance is important, it's not the only thing that matters, and I wouldn't want to get with someone who is only attracted to my physical beauty because that can be changed in the twinkling of an eye. One thing I realized is that this actually saved me from a lot of trauma and heartache that I watched my friends going through. While it was a bit depressing at the time, looking back now, I see it as a blessing in disguise, as I was even able to preserve my virginity since I had no boyfriend, and I was able to better focus on my studies. Ladies, your beauty and value are not determined by how many men approach you. So instead, focus on being the best version of yourself, cultivating interest, building your confidence, and keep in mind that confidence is not dependent on how others perceive you. The right people will be drawn to you for who you are, not just how you look. Okay, ladies, that's all for today's video. Until next time, stay feminine and sweet.